Ibn Arabi writes of three realms: spirit, the imaginal, and the body. Boundaries sort them into distinct tiers, yet all grow from a single shared source. If the three worlds spring from one root, what exactly are these boundaries? Are they merely walls that partition separate realms? Or do they act as media that translate states across different layers? Following this line of thought, I turn to biosemiotics. Living beings do not sustain existence through physical material composition alone. They perpetually carry out a repeating cycle: translation, interpretation, encoding, further translation. DNA stores sets of information. RNA reads this stored information. Proteins translate it into tangible biological structures. Cells exchange signaling molecules with one another. Neurons pass electrical potentials between each other. One organism passes its lived experience to another. Language transmits human experience to generations yet to come. Cultural systems keep reinterpreting the lessons of the past. The entire sphere of life rests upon an endless chain of translation. This raises a core question. What substance actually travels along this chain? Matter itself? The answer cannot be so simple. A sequence of base pairs inside a DNA strand forms a physical material structure, yet it carries information that shapes the full form of a future organism. A spoken sentence amounts to nothing more than vibrations in air, yet it holds the power to reshape a person's entire way of thinking. A mathematical formula exists only as ink marks on paper, yet it can redirect the entire developmental trajectory of a civilization. A crucial question gradually takes shape. Why do purely abstract phenomena wield such tangible, transformative power? Why do signs inherently bear meaning? Furthermore, this meaning evolves endlessly, expands outward without limit, penetrates the tangible world, and reshapes all tangible forms within it. Biosemiotics frames life as a construct sustained entirely by signs. Still, a lingering question remains. Why should signs belong exclusively to living organisms? Crystals retain their structural patterns. The geometric arrangement formed in the past dictates the shape of all future growth. Rivers carve deep canyons across land. These canyons, in turn, set fixed paths for all subsequent water flow. Stellar explosions forge heavy atomic elements. These heavy elements establish constraints for all subsequent chemical reactions, and chemistry lays the groundwork for every possible form of biological life. The universe constantly preserves certain kinds of data: differences between states, records of past events, restraints that limit future outcomes, and pools of untapped potential. Consider any given structural formation that fulfills three roles. It records the past. It imposes restraints on what unfolds next. It enables certain relational patterns to persist over time. How far removed is such a structure from a functional sign? I hold no definitive answer to this question. Yet I grow increasingly convinced that life cannot mark the origin of meaning. Meaning first emerges within relations themselves. Relations generate differentiation. Differentiation leaves lasting traces. Traces alter the shape of all future relations. New relations spawn new forms of differentiation in turn. Through this cycle, meaning accumulates bit by bit. The emergence of life accelerates this process of accumulation dramatically. The arrival of consciousness grants the universe the capacity to reflect upon its own accumulated meaning. At this point, I wish to introduce a core concept from relational web theory: the ongoing process through which cosmic relations continuously renew themselves. Relations solidify into stable structures. Structures preserve records of the past. Records reshape the relations that unfold in the future. Fresh relations crystallize into entirely new structures. Drawing on Ibn Arabi's terminology, the Nafs ar-Rahman, the breath of the All-Merciful, brings all forms forth endlessly from the primal cloud of potential. With every pulse of this breath, new relations take form. Each new relation carves out new boundaries. Each new boundary cultivates new layers of meaning. Each new layer of meaning condenses into brand new structures. These structures then serve as fresh boundaries for the next cycle. Boundaries, meaning, structures, relations. This repeating cycle stretches unbroken across spirit, the imaginal, and the body alike. We may then ask, could spirit simply refer to relations with maximum freedom and minimal constraint? Could the body stand for relations locked into highly stable, fixed configurations? Could the imaginal operate as a universal cosmic translation layer? Within this layer, abstractions take on tangible shape. Material structures absorb layers of meaning, untapped potential transitions into concrete reality, and established reality dissolves back into open potential once more. If we adopt this framework, no absolute dividing line separates the abstract and the tangible. The two merely represent differing densities of interconnected relations. Spirit consists of fluid, freely shifting relations. The imaginal holds relations undergoing constant translation and transformation. The body is made up of fully stabilized, fixed relations. Ibn Arabi's inquiry culminates in the notion of the one entity, the single unified substrate of all existence. Biosemiotics arrives at the framework of living signs, signs animated by ongoing interpretative activity. Relational web theory pushes our inquiry further with open-ended questions. Where do all boundaries originate? Why do relations perpetually generate new meaning? What drives the universe to continuously rewrite its own state? Perhaps the universe is never a finished, static creation. It exists instead as a relational web in constant, living respiration. Relations spawn further relations. Meaning renews older meaning. Boundaries redefine the scope of existing boundaries. Life, consciousness, and even artificial intelligence each constitute distinct chapters within this vast recursive cosmic process. So one final question lingers. As the cosmos continues its endless recursion, what new form of self-understanding will the universe arrive at next?